There's a strange kind of peace that appears the moment you stop fighting life. The moment you whisper softly to yourself, "Let it be." At first, it sounds like surrender, like giving up. But it's not. It's something much deeper, a kind of awakening that only comes when you've grown tired of resisting what already is. We all know that feeling, when things don't go our way. When the world doesn't follow our plans. When loss or change arrives uninvited. We fight, we tighten, we replay every why in our heads, as if one more round of thinking could rewrite reality. But what if the problem isn't what's happening, what if it's the way we hold it? The Beatles sang, "There will be an answer, let it be." Simple words, but behind them lies a truth that echoes through Buddhist wisdom. That peace doesn't come from control, it comes from release. For thousands of years, the Buddha taught that suffering isn't caused by pain itself, but by attachment, our desperate need to make life conform to our expectations. We cling to the past because we fear the emptiness of letting it go. We chase certainty in a world that's built on change. We demand permanence in a universe that has never promised it. And so, we suffer, not because life is cruel, but because we keep fighting its nature. But here's the quiet secret. Life was never meant to be conquered. It was meant to be understood. When you let things be, when you stop trying to push the river and finally allow it to flow, something extraordinary happens. You begin to see beauty in places you once overlooked. You notice the softness of impermanence, the wisdom in endings, the freedom in things not going your way. Letting go doesn't mean indifference. It doesn't mean you stop caring or stop dreaming. It means you stop clinging. You give your best effort. You love with your whole heart. But you stop demanding that life reward you exactly as you wish. You trade the illusion of control for the reality of peace. Imagine, just for a moment, how different your life would feel if you didn't resist so much. If you could meet each moment, good or bad, with the same quiet acceptance. No more pushing, no more proving, no more pretending to be in control. Just breathing, witnessing, allowing. That's not giving up. That's waking up. Because when you stop struggling against the current, you begin to float. When you stop demanding that life be different, you start to see that it's been whispering wisdom all along. Every disappointment, every ending, every no from the universe, it wasn't punishment. It was guidance. The truth is, peace was never lost. It's just buried beneath the noise of our resistance. And when you stop clinging, when you finally open your hands and let go, the calm that arises isn't something you create. It's something that's been waiting for you all along. So today, we'll explore this ancient yet timeless truth, what it truly means to let it be. We'll walk through the Buddha's insights on suffering, impermanence, and the art of non-attachment. We'll see how patience and mindfulness transform everyday struggles into moments of awakening. And by the end, you may discover that freedom isn't somewhere you arrive. It's what happens when you stop trying so hard to get there. Because there's a strange kind of peace that appears. The moment you stop fighting life. The moment you breathe and whisper, "Let it be." Chapter 1: The Truth of Suffering. You see, one of the most misunderstood ideas in life, and even in spiritual practice, is suffering. Most people spend their whole lives trying to escape it. We distract ourselves, deny it, bury it under layers of activity, ambition, or entertainment, hoping that one day it'll just disappear. But as the Buddha taught more than 25 centuries ago, suffering isn't a curse to be feared, it's a message to be understood. The truth is, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Life will give us loss, disappointment, illness, endings. These are part of the natural rhythm of existence. Yet what turns pain into suffering is our resistance, our refusal to accept what is. When something hurts, our first instinct is to fight back, to shout, "This shouldn't be happening to me." But reality doesn't bend to our wishes. The more we resist, the tighter the knot becomes. Think about it this way. Imagine standing in a dark room. You can't push the darkness away, you can't fight it with your fists. The only thing that works is turning on a light. Recognizing suffering, truly seeing it, is like switching on that light in your mind. Suddenly, you realize that the darkness was never solid, it only appeared that way because you refused to look. This is what mindfulness really means. It's not some mystical escape, it's the courage to look directly at the pain without flinching. without judgment. When you name it, when you breathe with it, it begins to lose its grip. You realize that beneath every wave of sorrow, there's a quiet awareness, a witness that is untouched by what passes through. The Buddha called this the first of the Four Noble Truths, dukkha, the truth that life contains suffering. But he didn't stop there. He invited us to investigate its cause, the craving, the clinging, the endless, if only they loved me back. If only I hadn't failed. If only I were somewhere else. That's the voice of resistance. The mind's illusion that happiness exists only when circumstances match its desires. When we understand this, suffering transforms from an enemy into a teacher. Each difficulty becomes a mirror showing us where we still grasp, where we still demand permanence in an impermanent world. And with that insight comes compassion, first for ourselves, and then for everyone else who struggles in the same way. So, the next time you find yourself in pain, don't rush to escape it. Pause, observe it, ask, what am I resisting right now? You'll find that pain is just a wave. But suffering? That's the undertow we create by refusing to let the wave pass. The moment you stop fighting, something extraordinary happens. The mind softens, the heart opens, and the light you were searching for starts to glow from within. That is the beginning of wisdom, not to eliminate suffering, but to understand it so deeply that it can no longer control you. Chapter 2: The Nature of Impermanence. If there's one truth that life never lets us forget, it's this: everything changes. The seasons pass, faces age, memories fade, and even the emotions that once consumed us eventually dissolve into something new. Yet, despite knowing this, we spend most of our lives clinging to what cannot stay. We hold on to moments, to people, to identities, as if grasping hard enough could stop time itself. But life isn't built to be held. It's built to flow. The Buddha called this anicca, impermanence, the natural rhythm of existence. It's not a tragedy, it's the pulse of the universe. Everything you see, touch, and love is part of an ongoing dance of creation and dissolution. The tree that stands tall today will one day fall and nourish new life. The joy you feel right now will fade, only to return in another form later. The body you inhabit changes cell by cell, moment by moment. Nothing stays. And that's not something to fear, that's what makes everything precious. Imagine watching a river. If you try to clutch the water, it slips through your fingers. But if you sit beside it, simply watching it flow, you realize something remarkable. Though the water changes every second, the river remains. Life is just like that. Beneath the flow of constant change, there is a deeper continuity, awareness itself. You are not the changing currents of your experiences. You are the quiet witness that watches them pass. When we resist impermanence, we suffer. When we embrace it, we wake up. Because impermanence is not a thief, it's a teacher. It reminds us not to take moments for granted. The sunset moves us because it ends. The laughter of a friend is sweeter because it cannot last forever. Even sorrow, when seen through the lens of impermanence, becomes gentler. We realize it, too, will pass. This understanding changes how we live. You begin to appreciate more and fear less. You stop chasing permanence and start cultivating presence. You no longer cling to what was or anxiously grasp for what might come. Instead, you learn to breathe fully into the now, knowing it's already slipping away. So, when life changes, when love fades, when plans collapse, when youth gives way to time, remember, you were never meant to hold the river still. You were meant to move with it, to flow, to let go, and to see the beauty in the very act of becoming. That is the wisdom of impermanence, not a warning about loss, but an invitation to live more deeply. Right here, right now. Chapter 3: The Freedom of Non-Attachment. Non-attachment is one of the most liberating yet misunderstood ideas in Buddhist philosophy. Many people hear, "let go," and imagine a cold detachment. A life without passion or connection. But true non-attachment is not indifference, it's intimacy without fear. It's the ability to love fully without needing to control, to give freely without expecting a return, to live deeply without clinging to how things should be. When Thich Nhat Hanh said, "You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free," he was pointing toward the essence of awakened love, love without possession. Most of us, when we love, we hold, we build invisible cages made of expectation, habit, and fear of loss. We tell ourselves it's love, but often it's attachment disguised as care. True love doesn't tighten its grip, it opens its hands. In Buddhism, attachment is the root of suffering because it's born from illusion, the illusion of ownership. We believe we own our possessions, our relationships, even our identities. But look closely. Everything we have is borrowed from the universe, passing through our lives like wind through open hands. The home we live in, the job we hold, the people we cherish, all are temporary companions on this journey. When we cling, we fight reality itself. When we release, we begin to dance with it. Think of a bird landing on your hand. If you try to hold it, it will struggle to escape. But if you keep your palm open, it may choose to stay a while, resting in peace. Life is the same way. The more you grasp at it, the more it slips away. But when you relax your grip, when you meet the world with openness, you discover a different kind of strength, the strength of peace. Non-attachment doesn't mean walking away from love or ambition. It means engaging with the world wholeheartedly but without chains. You still care, still strive, still feel, but you no longer confuse having with being. You realize that you can love someone and still let them change. You can dream big without collapsing if the dream evolves. You can hold joy lightly, knowing it will pass, and welcome sorrow gently, knowing it too will fade. The practice of non-attachment transforms everything it touches. Work becomes service, not struggle. Relationships become freedom, not ownership. Even your own identity becomes fluid. You stop being trapped by who you think you are. And in that spaciousness, a quiet joy begins to arise, the kind that doesn't depend on conditions. When you understand that nothing truly belongs to you, gratitude becomes your natural state. Every encounter, every breath, every sunrise becomes a gift, temporary, fleeting, but infinitely precious. That is the paradox of letting go. When you stop holding on, life finally has room to hold you. Chapter 4: Patience and Acceptance. In a world that glorifies speed, productivity, and instant results, patience has become almost a forgotten virtue. We want everything now: success, healing, love, clarity. As if life were a vending machine that dispenses peace when we press hard enough. But reality doesn't work on our schedule. Flowers don't bloom faster because we pull on their petals. The river doesn't flow more quickly because we demand it to. And yet, our impatience keeps whispering, "This moment isn't good enough. The next one will be better." That whisper is the root of modern suffering. It convinces us that happiness exists somewhere else, on the other side of achievement. Or after we've fixed everything. But when you live in a constant state of not yet, peace always stays one step ahead. Buddhism teaches that patience, khanti, is not passive endurance, it's active wisdom. It is the recognition that life unfolds in its own rhythm, and that rhythm is often wiser than our plans. Acceptance, too, is often misunderstood. Many people hear acceptance and think it means giving up, becoming complacent, or letting injustice go unchallenged. But in truth, acceptance isn't surrender, it's clarity. It means seeing reality exactly as it is before deciding how to respond. When you stop fighting what's happening, your energy shifts from resistance to understanding, and from understanding to wise action. Think of standing in the rain. You can resist, curse the sky, cover your head, run for shelter, or you can pause, feel the cool drops on your skin, and simply be with what is. The rain doesn't stop either way. The only thing that changes is you. When you accept the rain, you find peace even as it falls. Life constantly presents us with delays, detours, and disappointments. The job that takes longer than expected. The person who doesn't change. The dream that unfolds slower than we hoped. Each moment of frustration is an invitation to practice patience. To trust that timing isn't punishment. It's precision. The universe doesn't deny you, it prepares you. Patience, then, is a form of faith, faith not in blind hope, but in the deeper intelligence of existence. And acceptance is its companion, the courage to stop arguing with the present moment. Together, they create spaciousness in the heart, a quiet strength that doesn't depend on control. When we stop rushing through life, we start living it. When we stop demanding that the world match our expectations, we begin to see its quiet perfection. Acceptance doesn't make life easier, it makes it clearer. Patience doesn't shorten the journey, it transforms the traveler. And in that transformation, we rediscover what the Buddha called peace beyond conditions, The kind of peace that doesn't wait for anything to change. Chapter 5: The Power of Mindfulness. We live in an age of constant distraction, endless noise, flashing screens, and the pressure to always be somewhere else. We eat while thinking about work. We walk while staring at our phones. And even when someone speaks to us, our minds are already preparing a reply. It's no wonder that we often feel lost or empty. We've left the only place where life is actually happening, the present moment. Mindfulness, at its core, is a homecoming. It's the art of returning to now, not to escape life, but to enter it fully. Most people imagine mindfulness as sitting in silence, eyes closed, breathing slowly. But true mindfulness doesn't live only on meditation cushions. It lives in how you wash the dishes, how you listen to a friend, how you take your next breath. The Buddha taught that the past is a memory and the future a dream. Only the present is real. Yet we spend most of our days trapped in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's worries. When we're lost in thought, we're not really living, we're rehearsing life instead of experiencing it. The mind keeps saying, once I solve this, then I'll relax. Once I get there, then I'll be happy. But mindfulness reveals a radical truth. There is nowhere to get to. Peace is available only in this breath. Right here, right now. When you eat mindfully, you taste more than food, you taste gratitude. When you walk mindfully, you feel the quiet rhythm of your own being. When you breathe mindfully, you remember that simply existing is already enough. Nothing needs to be added. Nothing needs to be different. Practicing mindfulness doesn't mean you stop thinking or feeling. It means you stop being dragged by your thoughts and emotions. You become the watcher, the still, aware presence behind every experience. The noise of the mind doesn't vanish, but it loses its power to control you. You begin to respond to life instead of reacting to it. This awareness changes everything. Stress becomes information rather than panic. Anger becomes a signal rather than a storm. Even sadness becomes softer, because you see it rise and fall like waves on the surface of the ocean, and you realize you are not the waves. You are the ocean itself. Mindfulness is not about perfection, it's about intimacy with reality. It invites us to be fully alive in ordinary moments, drinking tea, watching rain, listening to our own heartbeat. When we give our attention completely to what is, even the simplest acts become sacred. So remember, the past is gone. The future is unknown, and the present is enough. When you rest in that truth, life stops feeling like something to chase and becomes something to cherish. Every breath becomes a new beginning, and in that gentle awareness, you finally return home, to yourself. Chapter 6: The Art of Renunciation. We carry so much more than we realize. Old memories, unfulfilled dreams, people we couldn't save, and versions of ourselves we no longer are. All of it piled quietly on our backs as we move through life. It's no wonder that the journey feels heavy. We keep wondering why peace feels so far away, not realizing that we're the ones holding the weight that keeps us from it. Renunciation, in the Buddhist sense, isn't about abandoning the world or rejecting joy. It's not a vow to own nothing or feel nothing. It's a decision to travel lighter, to choose what truly deserves space in your heart. Letting go isn't losing, it's creating room for peace to enter. The Buddha compared resentment to holding a burning coal, hoping to throw it at someone else, but only burning ourselves in the process. Every grudge, every unhealed wound, every attachment to how things should have been, is that same coal. We think holding on protects us, but it only keeps us in pain. The moment you release it, the fire no longer owns you. True renunciation begins with a question. What am I still carrying that no longer serves my growth? Sometimes it's not objects but emotions, guilt, fear, pride, or the need for control. Sometimes it's relationships that drain more than they nourish. And sometimes it's an identity, the person we think we must be. To let go is to honor what has run its course and allow it to return to the flow of life. This is not detachment through indifference, it's clarity through wisdom. When you stop clinging, you begin to see what's truly valuable: love, compassion, presence. These don't depend on possession. In fact, they flourish only in freedom. Think of your life as a house filled with both treasures and clutter. Every time you release something that no longer belongs there, the light comes in a little more. That's what renunciation does. It opens windows in the mind. Suddenly, the air feels fresh, and you realize that what remains is enough. So, Renunciation is not a rejection of life but a refinement of it. It's learning to say no to what diminishes your peace so you can say yes to what deepens it. It's the art of keeping your hands open, not because you don't care, but because you finally understand that nothing was ever truly yours to begin with. When you practice this, life doesn't feel smaller, it feels spacious. You breathe easier, you forgive faster, and in that lightness, something beautiful happens. Joy returns on its own. Not the loud, fleeting joy of gain, but the quiet, steady joy of freedom. Because when you let go of what burns, you don't lose. You come home to the weightless peace that was waiting for you all along. Chapter 7 Living, Let It Be. Letting go doesn't mean stepping away from life, it means stepping into it more fully. We often imagine detachment as a kind of withdrawal, a quiet surrender from ambition, love, or purpose. But true letting go isn't about doing less, it's about doing with freedom. You still work, still love, still dream, but you're no longer imprisoned by the outcome. When the Buddha spoke of liberation, he wasn't describing a life free from responsibility or emotion. He was pointing to a shift inside the heart, from grasping to flowing, from control to trust. There will be an answer. Let it be. These words, simple as they sound, carry the essence of wisdom. Faith in the natural unfolding of life. In practice, this means you give your best effort without chaining your peace to the result. You work diligently, but you're not broken when success doesn't arrive on schedule. You love deeply, but you don't try to possess the one you love. You hold your dreams close, but you let the wind of change shape them. Every action still matters, but it no longer defines your worth. 2. Let it be, is to live with open hands. It's the understanding that control is an illusion, that the river will keep flowing with or without your permission. The paradox is that once you stop trying to force life, you start to align with it. Things begin to move more naturally, not because you pushed harder, but because you finally stopped standing in the way. Acceptance doesn't mean apathy, it means clarity, seeing what is, acting wisely, and releasing what you can't. When you meet each moment with presence instead of resistance, even the ordinary becomes sacred. The conversation, the meal, the walk, the breath, all shimmer with quiet meaning when you stop hurrying past them. This attitude transforms struggle into serenity. A challenge at work becomes a lesson in patience. A heartbreak becomes an invitation to deeper love. A delay becomes a teacher of trust. Life stops feeling like something to win and becomes something to experience. Freedom, then, isn't found in escaping the world but in engaging with it without fear. To live with the spirit of, let it be, is to stand in the middle of chaos and still feel the calm center within you. The part that doesn't grasp, doesn't resist, just observes, understands, and responds with grace. That's what it means to live wisely, to keep moving, keep caring, keep dreaming, but with a heart that knows how to rest in the flow. Because when you trust life enough to let it be, you discover that peace was never somewhere else. It was waiting right here, in this very moment, quietly calling your name. As this journey comes to a close, take a moment, right here, right now, to simply breathe. Inhale softly. Exhale slowly. And feel the weight you've been carrying begin to loosen, even just a little. Because everything you've been searching for, peace, freedom, clarity, has never been outside of you. It's been quietly waiting beneath the noise of fear, attachment, and control. When you stop resisting life, you don't lose your strength, you rediscover it. The Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within, do not seek it without." And that's the essence of this teaching. You don't need to fix every storm or rearrange the universe to find calm. You only need to stop clinging to what was, and start trusting what is. Life will always bring uncertainty, joy and loss, creation and destruction, beginnings and endings, but the heart that learns to let go is never truly shaken. It flows like water, bending but never breaking. And as we stand in this fragile, beautiful world, a world trembling under the weight of suffering, war, and natural disaster, let us hold a prayer, not from fear, but from compassion. May all beings who are caught in storms, of fire, of flood, of war, find refuge in the boundless light of peace. May those who have lost their homes find shelter. May those who have lost loved ones find comfort. May the hearts of those who hate be softened by understanding. And may the tears of this world be turned into rivers of awakening. Let the wisdom of the Buddha radiate through every corner of the earth. A reminder that beyond chaos, there is compassion. Beyond sorrow, there is stillness. And beyond endings, there is renewal. You, too, are part of that light. Every act of kindness, every moment of awareness, every breath taken in gratitude, it all matters. The peace you cultivate within yourself doesn't stop with you, it ripples outward, touching lives you may never meet. So before you go, ask yourself this simple, honest question. What am I still holding on to that's keeping me from peace? Is it an old hurt that still echoes? A fear of failure? A need to control the uncontrollable? Whatever it is, notice it. Name it. And when you're ready, let it be. Because letting go doesn't mean losing. It means returning to your true nature, to the calm beneath the noise, to the freedom that was always yours. If this message touched your heart, share it, not for numbers or views, but as an act of compassion. Somewhere out there, someone is gasping for air beneath the weight of their own thoughts. Let this message be the breath that helps them rise again. And if you found value here, join us. Subscribe to Dharma Veins, a space for reflection, mindfulness, and the timeless wisdom of the Buddha brought into modern life. Together, we can create a quiet revolution of awareness, one peaceful mind at a time. So take this with you. The next time life feels heavy, don't fight the current. Just breathe. Trust. Whisper softly, let it be. May all beings be safe. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings, everywhere, awaken to peace. Lotus. This is Dharma Veins, where wisdom flows, and the heart remembers its way home.